On this episode of the Procedurally Generated Show, Ethan sails the ocean and Tony raids all the monasteries. We talk about the week's biggest news and answer some of your questions. Howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Procedurally Generated Show. I'm your host, Tony, and joining me this week, I've got Ethan.
Hey.
What's up?
I was readjusting my headset.
Yeah, you should probably be able to hear me while we're doing a podcast.
Oh, it was like the microphone was like eye level. And I was like, that's not right.
No, probably not. I don't think you talk out of your eyes.
Or can I?
I would be worried. And that's an image no, I don't want to see like little mouths in your eyes. Okay, stop right there. We're back. It's been a couple of weeks.
I don't know. You ever do that thing where you can like make air come out of like the little corner of your eye because of the nasal cavity area there?
I have not done that in my life. No.
So I know it's a thing. Like people have been able to shoot milk out of their eyes from that.
Yeah, I've known people that could do that. I think it's weird.
So I bet if I try hard enough, I could put air to go through there. And if I blink in the right frequency, I can make legible or
audible.
There we go. Audible stuff that is very cognitive.
I don't want to even think about that possibility. Like I could never do the, spaghetti up the nose and out the mouth thing. And no.
And then the headset just fell off my head.
What are you doing over there that's causing so much turmoil with your headset?
I need a haircut.
There you go. So yeah, it's been a couple weeks since we've had a proper show, but we're back just in time for the holidays. So
yeah, I'm not out of town. There's not an ice storm causing a power outage. And there's actually news we can cover this week. So, everything's working good now.
Everything is in our favor for a proper show again. So we've been playing some stuff over the last couple of weeks, so I'm sure we have.
Oh, yes, we have. Or I have.
Is there anything in particular you want to talk about?
I'll throw this out there real quick. I got the Platinum Trophy in Bugsnax, and then promptly uninstalled the game.
So you're never going to play Bugsnax again?
I don't have any reason to go back to it.
That's true. You've done everything there is to do in Bugsnax.
I really did. There is nothing more to do in that game.
So.
And if you're... how do I can't even say this because that would be a spoiler. You know what? Hold on. If you want to avoid a spoiler, I'll give you 5 seconds to skip 15 seconds starting... 5 seconds, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus an additional 10 to skip ahead. So, whenever I say now, if you want to avoid the spoiler, as I'm trying to pull up my stopwatch on my phone, starting now, you have 5 seconds to skip, or you have the second.
Skip the next 15 seconds.
There we go. Starting now. Okay, so at the end of Bugsnax, there's like this awesome Metal Gear Solid style of stinger at the end. So that's
really?
Okay. Yes. And now I can't talk about it because it's already been 15 seconds.
Well, I'll be very interested in finding out some video of that.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I was like, man, I can't wait for more Bugsnax.
Who'd have thought at the end of Bugsnax you'd be like, man, I need more Bugsnax now.
I want the sequel because I want to see where it goes from there. So yeah, I guess the only spoiler at this point people are getting is there's probably going to be a sequel if the game does good enough.
Okay.
Those who stuck it out for that brief 15-second period there,
they know what's going on.
You know exactly why I'm excited for it. Because if you've ever played any of those games that I made a reference to, you're like you sat through the credits of those, you know what I mean.
Like, I want to know how those universes combine in any possible way.
it has to go to space from there, man.
I did see someone on Twitter this week.
These are crazy
Um,
bait and switch comments we're making now.
I did see someone on Twitter this week say, I think that the Bug Snacks and the Spider-Man universes are the same based on what happens to, I guess, is it Peter Parker takes a vacation for like 2 weeks and Bug Snacks takes place over 2 weeks and you're a photographer and
I
their
uh,
argument was compelling, completely ridiculous, but compelling.
I didn't know it took place over 2 weeks on either game, really.
So, but outside of Bug
Yeah,
Snacks,
outside of the Bug Snacks.
what else have you been playing?
By the way, Bug Snacks, simple game, very childish to play, but it has some complexity in there. It's enjoyable.
Okay.
I would say 10 or not 15 to $20 enjoyable, unless you have PS Plus and a PS5.
Okay. Yeah, because I know it's on PC, but I think it's $30 on there right now.
Yeah, that's a little steep for what it actually is. Okay,
Okay.
anyway, to the game that I have been playing that is not on a next gen system right now. Well, I guess it's on a
Are you
current gen.
saying that Apple TV is not next gen?
Yeah, I am saying that.
Okay.
I I really forgot I had a review copy of this game, Ocean Horn 2.
Okay.
And
So
like I said earlier, due to having power outages from winter weather and then travel for work, I kind of forgot I had this game to review, and Tony kindly reminded me earlier. So I got a couple of hours into that,
okay.
and it is trying its hardest to be a Zelda game with a lot of dialogue stuff happening.
Yeah.
And I want to say it's not quite Zelda in the way it needs to control,
Okay.
and
Like
it's
the Oceanhorn games have never hidden the fact that they are heavily inspired by
yeah,
Zelda.
I recall the pictures from the first game. It's like, what is this, Wind Waker? But not, because it looks so strange. This one, it, I want to say someone was trying to tell me it was like Breath of the Wild, and it's not, because this one's like I'm gonna say a little more Wind Waker. You're on islands still exploring, going into dungeons on there,
Mhm.
but my goodness, it's lacking in the controls. I cannot get the timing down on when to get a proper guard break or something on, not a guard break, a proper deflect with your shield whenever like an enemy is gonna do their attack. It's like, okay, I see he goes down. That's why I need to hit the shield, and it's just some strange input lag that it's like, okay, this worked before with this timing. Why is it not working now or
Yeah.
something? It's like it's like the timing has changed from 2 seconds ago when I did it earlier with a different enemy. I don't understand it. The attacks, leveling system, and all that, it seems to be a thing because like the attacks, their damage will vary until you upgrade your weapon and or level up some. But I mean, I leveled up a few times before even getting a thing to insert into the weapon, and I could not tell much of a difference in attacks until I got that
Yeah.
crystal to upgrade the sword with.
Is the guard timing thing like reliant on a specific point in an enemy animation and the animations are just so different it's hard to time, or is there like
Well,
a visual
there's like
clue?
these insects that you encounter super early on, and you don't have the shield for them at first, so you kind of have to get good at dodging.
Hmm.
But then you get the shield, and it's like, okay, now I can just pull up this extremely small shield and deflect their attack, flip them over, and just two hit them right then and there. Versus like
Yeah.
having to hit them 10 times to kill them when they're facing normal. And it's just you
Yeah.
see them like they'll come up to you and then they start backing away, and then they'll stop, and that's like, okay, that's the cue to throw up the shield because he's gonna hunker down and then try to ram up on you, and that's when you're gonna take some damage, get knocked down, and you gotta press the A button to get up, or else you just lay there on the ground with the prompt to get up.
Yeah. And see, like I'm thinking of games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is what I've been playing right now, where whenever you're in a fight, and it's been that way in the Assassin's Creed series for a long time, there's a very distinct visual cue. And in Valhalla, it's a bright yellow flash. So when you see that, that's your indicator
Yeah, you have no
to your
indication.
guard.
It's just learn how each enemy looks. Then turn around. And I've been playing Spider-Man Miles Morales. It's like, oh, there's the Spidey sense going off. Okay, now it's red. That's the second you need to push that dodge button to get the
Mhm.
perfect dodge.
Do you think it's something that maybe a small visual indicator, like a flash, or maybe the character model flashes red or something like that, to tell you this is when you do it? Do you think that
Maybe.
would make it better, more easier to
Actually, I think it
do?
would work a lot better if there was an actual lock on, which
Okay.
there is a lock on in the system. And, think of it as Z targeting. There we go. Zelda 64.
Yeah.
You would lock onto the enemy and you can do the strafing around them, and you can see, okay, they're going to do that attack, and you just hold up your shield and hope for the best there, or like later games, you could do a dodge roll out of the way. So, this game does the same thing where when you use your shield, you're locked onto whatever the nearest enemy is, supposedly the nearest enemy. Sometimes you'll log on to something else. It's really weird. And that kind of works, but you can't do your attacks, so it's like, okay, I'm holding this way and I hit the attack button, or I release the shield and hit the attack button. Well, now I'm not attacking the enemy because I'm facing a completely different way. And if you don't have the shield from the start, well, then you don't have a lock on at all.
Hmm.
So it's just super annoying. It's like, if you're going to make a Zelda game, copy as much as you can within legal means there, so that way you can, so it feels like a good Zelda game, or clone of Zelda, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But I mean, these could be minor gripes I have on there, because your life system on there, you'll take a lot of damage. You're gonna die a lot, but your respawn back into where you were just at is phenomenally quick. It's not like you're hit with a
That's
game
good.
over screen and all this stuff. You just uh, turn into like red squares or something, and burn off of existence, and then form right back, 20 feet away, and everything's reset. But it's like, all right, let's do this again.
Yeah. I guess there is it is good that at least that happens so that one if you do die, you're right back into the action really quickly so you can
Yeah,
try
if anything, I can say the game is very forgiving.
it. Okay.
I it there is a gun that you have on here that you can use, and they don't really force you to use it too much, even though it is kind of handy. I mean, the game has got a tutorial, but it's not much of a tutorial.
Hmm.
I don't know how to feel about it really, and making you go against shielded enemies that you got to flip over to attack their weak point to do massive damage. Uh, from the very get go of the game, that's kind of a, I'm gonna say it's a bad design right there. It's like you needed to start with something that you could just beat the crap out of immediately and feel good about. I'm not sure what, but the options are there, I'm sure.
Okay. Yeah. I can see that.
My I do have one major complaint, and it's the other characters that you meet. They're just so horrible.
How so?
I feel so bad saying it, but like early,
Like is it because they're
like
bad characters or
no, no,
is it
no. It's they're given dialogue, and they don't have facial expressions really. Like maybe their eyes will squint a little here and there, but they don't
Mhm.
have emotion.
I wonder how much of this comes from the fact that the game was originally released on
Apple
Apple
TV.
TV, and
I want to say a lot of it probably came from that.
I don't, I don't have any experience with Apple TV, so I can't say how much those are like, old mobile games where animations were not as necessary because you're playing on a smaller screen. I know you can play Apple TV games on your TV. Um,
Yeah, I'm sure it was designed with the phone in mind on there, uh, and they just had to save on a bunch of resources. But You save this girl early on, and she's kind of insults you. Your character just doesn't react to it. You just keep going, and then she's like, "Oh, and I'm so sorry about this," and she's got the same face that she had when she was insulting you. It's just like, lady, I just saved your life. You insulted me, and now you're apologizing to me with the exact same facial expression.
Yeah, and it's really strange comparing that to something because this game is so heavily inspired by like the Zelda franchise. Comparing it to that, where the character is mute, but is incredibly expressive through both body animations and facial reactions. You can tell
Yeah,
what Link is thinking and feeling and all of that
it's
just
like
by
you
looking at the
attack a
character.
chicken. You know Link, especially young Link, he's gonna have that worried face on while he's running for his life from those chickens,
Yeah.
or at least he will in some games. You take hits and like you'd see like his eyes are wide and mouth open. This game, I don't know because I don't ever get a good look at it because I'm too mad trying to figure out why my shield isn't working. But I'm still early in on there. Everything else I have to complain about in the game would probably be minor complaints, like the bomb system. Like with other Zelda games, or most Zelda games, you take a bomb out and you have it over your head. You can throw it or you can place it in front of you. It's extremely easy to just
Hmm.
drop it right in front of you, and then you can't pick it back up. You're sitting there waiting on it to explode, and then you have to wait for the recharge after that. It's just like, guys, I have a game I want to play and enjoy. Don't waste my
Yeah,
time with this.
it's small little things like that though that can add up to an overall, unenjoyable experience. Even if a good portion of the game feels good, you know, tiny little annoyances like that can really get in the way. And it's things like that that are probably fairly easy to fix. Um,
I'm gonna say that the game's too far off at this point to fix most of that stuff.
okay.
Uh,
That's kind of disappointing too, because
and,
I've been interested in this game since it was first announced, just based solely off playing the demo of the first one, which was really good, and Shannon had a lot of good things to say about the first game. So I was really excited to see what Oceanhorn 2 was going to be like because it looked like a bigger game in scope. Like it went from the 2D Zeldas to the jump to the 3D Zeldas. So I was really hoping that this was going to be something that was really really good.
oh, don't get me wrong. Gameplay wise, it's there. It's just you have to account for so much on there to like I've done nothing but compare it to Zelda.
Hmm.
Now, if I wasn't comparing it to anything, I would say it's a pretty solid game for what it is. In
Yeah.
fact, it really is. It's just I know where it's getting the inspiration from and copying
Yeah.
most of that stuff. It's like get it right or don't do it at all. Do your own thing then.
Hmm. Yeah. But
Um, uh, Gosh, I had another thought of the game and I have lost that thought.
okay. Well, does that mean it's time to move on?
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad because I've only spoke bad about the game, but what is there looks good. It's just
Mhm.
it could be better.
Okay.
And like you said earlier, this is probably because it was limited to Apple TV originally or whatever Apple Play Store. I don't know.
Yeah.
It wasn't originally on the system that I'm playing it on. So yeah, there's that, and yeah. So yeah, Oceanhorn 2. I'm not exactly happy with it, but I'm gonna stick it. I'm gonna stick through it on this review.
Okay, yeah, I'm hoping that maybe it does end up getting a little better, a little further in, and maybe some of that stuff
Yeah, who
kind of
knows? Maybe
lingers.
I'll feel a lot better about it after a week has passed. We'll find out because I still have quite a bit of this to play, I guess.
Okay. Well, all right. All right. So let's see. What have I been playing this week? A couple things, really. First one, just real quick. There's not a lot to say about it, but I have been playing Family Feud on the Xbox.
Nice.
Uh, it's exactly what you would expect it to be. It's Family Feud. If you know the show, you know the game. Uh, the one thing about this one is it's a little bit more family friendly than the TV show. Because I don't know if you've seen Family Feud at all lately, but
Yeah, actually, I have.
it's not very family friendly, that Family Feud, if you know what I'm saying. There's a lot of
Yeah.
questionable content on the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the video game, much better in terms of that. My kids have been watching and having fun, and they're guessing the answers, trying just alongside Heather and I. You can play it by yourself. You can play it with family. Um, there's local and online play. So if you can find somebody else who has the game, you can actually have yourself or a group of I think it's five people going up against another family somewhere in the world, and that would be I think that would be really interesting. But I haven't had a chance to try out the online.
Okay.
One funny thing that happened though was the first time I played, I didn't know how to add additional family members, so I was playing by myself,
Oh no.
and it was just my character there on the even just having the other character models, even if you're playing all five characters, would make a lot more sense. But and there is a way to do that. I just hit the button too fast to get through family selection or whatever. So it was just my character. It's like you're playing alone, that's okay. You'll have a good time anyway. um
Okay.
and then when you get to like if you win and you get to the fast money, it's like you're here by yourself, so you'll get two chances at this, and you answer the questions twice, as the individual person. And then just to put the little final nail in the coffin that your family hates you, at the end of the game it shows who played in the game, and it says like your character's name's family, and it's just a picture of yourself.
Oh.
And then it scrolls down to the other team who has a full family, and it says their family name, and it's got all five of their pictures, and you're just like, I'm sad and alone now. So it was kind of funny when that happens. The game's really good though. Like if you like that style of game show, if you like Family Feud, it's a really really fun way to play the game. Uh, so I have like nothing but good things to say about the game, except that the host of the game show is the creepiest, just weirdest, stiff as a board, has creepy
Mm-hmm.
facial animations. Like he is a creepy game show host.
Does he actually show emotion on his face?
Sort of, but
Yeah.
it's
Well, that's
it's
better than what I played.
um so yeah, but like Family Feud has always been one of those game shows that I enjoy watching, and so playing the game has been really fun. And if you have a bunch of people that can get together and play the game, I think you'd have a really really fun time. I think there is a like a streaming mode, and it's like you can click this button and do some Twitch stuff, and so
Hmm.
there's like Twitch integration into the game in
Interesting.
some way. So I'm kind of curious to see exactly what that is. If it's just as you're streaming the game, you can have your viewers in chat typing in answers, or if there's a way for them to actually interact with the game in some way. I don't know. So I'm curious to see what that's like. Um, but like it's a really fun game. I would, and I think it's $30. It's available on everything. Uh, PS4. I don't know if it's on like the next generation systems, but like PS4, Xbox One, Switch, Stadia. It's on all of those.
Okay.
So um,
I probably
if
won't
you
get it, but I do like to know that it's
I mean,
available.
it's one of those games that if you would be playing it by yourself the majority of the time, it's probably not worth picking up. But if you have the ability to get like if you have a big family or you have get-togethers every so often, it's a great party game type game. So um, that's the situation you'd probably want to pick up a game like that and play. And you can do controller for everybody, or you can just pass around a single controller because there's only one person ever doing anything at one time. So I just wanted
Okay.
to real quick talk about Family Feud. But then the other thing that I've been playing is Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Okay.
because Assassin's Creed, one of my top 3 or 4 favorite franchises of all time, has been for a while. The last couple of games I didn't play on release day. It was like a year or 2 years after the games came out that I finally got around to playing Origins and Odyssey. Um, but I figured this time there are I think there's 3 games from Ubisoft all coming out within about 4 weeks of each other that I was really, really interested in playing. And I figured, you know what? I've got a PC. I can play all these things on Shadow now. Why not just drop a few bucks for the Ubisoft Plus subscription? And so instead of paying $180 for these 3 games, I'm paying $15 or $30 to play all of them. It's Watch Dogs Legions, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and then Immortals Phoenix Rising next month.
Cool. Cool.
So Watch Dogs got put on hold. I played about 4 hours of that before Valhalla came out. I'm about 9 hours into Valhalla at this point. I think I've barely scratched the surface of the story. I've heard people saying this is like a 60+ hour game
Oh my gosh.
to get through. So there's a lot left to do in the game. And I'm having like really mixed opinions of the game, not because it's a bad game, but because it doesn't feel like Assassin's Creed to me.
In what way?
In any of the things that have made the Assassin's Creed franchise what it is, like the stealth and things of that nature, it's just not there. I mean, like, you can be sort of stealthy, but the enemies in this game see you so quickly that it is impossible to properly go through this game. At least I've found that it is practically impossible to play this game in a stealthy way. Because one of the things about Assassin's Creed is they've always been in heavily built up vertical environments. And when you're in the middle of like 8th century England, there are no skyscrapers around. There are no tall buildings aside from the church. And that's the only like building with any height anywhere. And buildings are spread out. You're not densely packed in these urban areas like you were in 14th century Italy or 18th century, 19th century England. Or the United States. And so you don't have those opportunities to be really stealthy, and they're going very heavily into the RPG aspects of these games rather than the stealth stuff. So we're getting away from the slower paced stealth based game and just into a straight action RPG.
That's kind of sad.
It's been a really good action RPG, but it's not.
It's not Assassin's Creed, right?
It's not. It really isn't. I mean, there is some Assassin Templar stuff going on. You're not Assassins and Templars at this point in time. It's the Brotherhood, the hidden ones versus the Brotherhood of the Ancients or something like that. The Order of the Ancients.
Oh.
So the Hidden Ones versus the Order of the Ancients. Those are your equivalents of the Assassins and the Templars. And the Hidden Ones have all of the assassin iconography. Eivor, who is the main character of the game, and you can play as either female or male. He has a hidden blade, but he doesn't wear it as a hidden blade. Like within the first hour of the game, an assassin comes up to you. He's like, "Hey, here, you might want this," and Eivor puts it on, and the assassin's like, "You're wearing it wrong," and he's like, "Why would I hide something like that?" And so he wears it on the outside of his arm instead of on the inside of his arm, where the assassins normally wear it.
So it's over the fist.
Yeah, so it comes out over the top of his fist.
I guess considering Viking nature.
He's a Viking, so it makes sense.
Like punching people, the blade pops out. Yeah, I guess it works.
And there's not a lot of hidden blade. I mean, there are the occasional things where you can use the hidden blade, but most of the time you're swinging giant axes at people. And going into an area, you're like, I want to do this. I want to be sneaky, do this, but you're a freaking Viking. And they weren't about being sneaky. They were just run in, kill everything as loud and as brutally as possible. And
Hmm.
so you get the feeling that you're a really, really freaking powerful Viking, but I want to be an assassin.
Right?
Um,
It's a little. I don't know. It makes me sad.
like I'm having fun. I'm enjoying the game, but but I'm realizing I'm enjoying the game as an RPG and not as an Assassin's Creed game. Uh, it's got a skill tree, but the skill tree is a giant jumbled mess. Like it has three different paths that are supposed to be for like stealth, ranged, and melee. But the thing is, every stat increase is just jumbled in and mixed in here. So if you're going down the melee uh, skill tree path, there are skills that you have to get in order to continue down that skill tree that are based on like ranged attacks. So you're going, I want to be a melee guy, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, here's a ranged attack plus 1.2% damage. Well, I don't want that. I, I don't care about ranged attacks. I very rarely use the bow,
So they're
but I
kind of
have to
forcing you to take all branches at the same time.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Um, and so you'll go down the ranged attack thing, and then there'll be a melee or a stealth or, a whatever. And then as you get further down, all you find out that all of the branches of the skill tree are really interconnected with each other. Um, because as you start to unlock skills, it unlocks a bigger part of the of bigger branches of the skill tree, and then they start to weave into like the different portions. So if I'm going down the melee portion, all of a sudden I'm now in the ranged attack part of the skill tree, and I had no idea that I was going to do this because you can't see the whole skill tree, so you can't plot out a course through the skill tree that you want to do. So there's no way to like min max your skills in any way. You
Mm.
can't specialize in one specific thing over the other. So,
Sounds
um,
really annoying.
a little bit, it's not hampering my enjoyment of the game. Like the story's really good. Um, I'm currently watching The Last Kingdom on Netflix, which just happens to take place and is sort of like an alternate telling of this exact story that I'm going through right now. So it's been
Oh,
interesting to see. Uh, I'm seeing names in Assassin's Creed Valhalla that are characters that are in the show that I'm watching, and so it's kind of neat to see the two different takes on the same story at the same time. Um, I did find out after about 4 hours into the game that I'm not playing the canon version of the main character Eivor,
yeah, you were telling me about this earlier.
because all of the promotional stuff, all the videos that they were showing about the game showed the male version of Eivor, and apparently the female version of Eivor is the canonical version. It's the one, if you read the novelization, I think there's a novelization. It's that one. Uh, all of the like wiki stuff talks about Eivor as a female. So I'm not playing the canon version of the character, which is what I usually like to do in those. I picked Cassandra in Assassin's Creed Odyssey because she was the canon version of the character. And if I'd have realized that going into the game, I would have played a female version of Eivor and not a male version. But
Too
this is
late.
the version of the character that I have grown to like. So this is the version of the character that I want to play. Um, as, so like I'm enjoying the game. It's really good. It's really fun. The combat is brutal. You feel very powerful in everything that you do. Like there are times where you're fighting someone and you'll do a critical hit and you'll just see Eivor like spin around with an axe and just lop some dude's head off and it goes flying.
Oh, wow.
And like it feels really good. And when you get to a character that you're actually supposed to assassinate like a proper Assassin's Creed game. It does the like Mortal Kombat thing of like you see the hidden blade going into their chest and through their heart, and then it pulls it back out. Uh, it like it's a really good game, but it's not a. I'm having trouble thinking of this as an Assassin's Creed game, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does.
So I am very much of two opinions of this game, and I've talked a little bit with some of the guys on the Facebook group about this. Um, I'm also not sure that a 60-hour Assassin's Creed game is what I want. Like, it's really hard for me to put 60 hours into a game anymore.
That's fair, especially with work, children,
like
and all that.
it's got a huge open world. There's a lot of stuff to do in it, and all of the side quests that you do, you don't have a map that just pops up with like hundreds of icons. It's like, here's the stuff you want to do, go do it all. And then you've got this checklist of things that you're doing that ultimately don't really matter to the story in any way whatsoever. Like, going around Venice and collecting 100 feathers means absolutely nothing to whatever Ezio's doing. It's just busy work. In this,
I don't know. His mom did enjoy the feathers you were delivering to her.
That's true. That's true. In this, the side quests feel important. Like, it has a lot of the same stuff that Assassin's Creed 3 has in it that made it feel really good. Like there is a homestead like in Assassin's Creed 3, and you are building that up. There's an assassin's base on your homestead. It's one of the first things you do is you build a building for the assassins that have come into Norway where you start the game. And then they follow you around. And so there are missions that you can do that are specific to the Assassin Brotherhood. There are your progression is tied to finding things in the environment, like your equipment upgrades and stuff. You're not just buying random stuff all the time because this stat is a little bit better than this one. There are specific things on the map, and you have to go and you have to either stealth your way around if you can do it, or just beat the snot out of a camp of guys, and then there'll be a treasure chest hidden in there somewhere, and you have to find the treasure chest. And that will give you either runes that you can use to upgrade your current equipment, or it'll give you a new piece of equipment that maybe its base stats are a little lower, but once you start to apply runes to it, that weapon or that armor then becomes really powerful. And all of the side quests feel important to the story. It feels like everything that you're doing for these people matters to the overall arc of the story. There's not any of just, busy work like, oh my gosh, my husband has gotten lost and he's 200 yards away, trapped on some rock, and you go and you do it and you bring him back and you get a few pieces of gold or whatever. There's none of that. Nothing in the game feels like busy work, which is really good. That's something that's sort of plagued the Assassin's Creed franchise for quite a while. So in that aspect is really nice. So it's a good game. It really is a good game. But if you're an Assassin's Creed fan, it might still not be what you're looking for in an Assassin's Creed game. It does have some nice tiebacks to the series, the modern day stuff. Some old familiar characters who have been gone for a while are back, and some characters that you might expect to have not seen are important again in some way. I'm not gonna talk too much about it. But if you're a longtime fan of the modern day stuff, it feels a little more important this time.
He's not talking about Desmond.
So there you go. That's what I've been playing this week. I'm going to continue to play it. I have no plans on stopping at this point. I don't know if I'm going to finish it though, and that's kind of a little disappointing to me. Oh, and I've been streaming the entire game.
Nice.
So I'm playing it on Luna. with the brand new Luna controller, which feels incredible. It really does. Like, you don't think that a Wi-Fi enabled controller would make any difference, but it so does. Like, it feels very much like I'm playing the game just on my computer. And there's none of that lag that you would expect to find in a game that's being streamed to you. It's been really incredible playing the game streaming. And I've played with both a regular Xbox One controller through Bluetooth and now the Luna controller, because I bought that this week and it came in. And the Switch was so nice. Like, it feels really smooth. It feels really silky. I'm not seeing any of that input lag that people complain about with this, and I don't know if it's just because of that controller or what, but it's been so good. I do though have one very not nice thing to say about Luna.
Okay.
And it's not really Luna itself. It's an issue with the messaging that was around Luna this week. Because one of the things that I did was I saw the Luna Twitter account tweet out all of the different devices that were compatible with Luna. And one of the things I saw was that they said that the Fire Stick Lite, which is the cheapest version of the Fire Stick, was compatible with Luna. And so I grabbed one on Amazon. It was like $17. It was super cheap. And I'm like, for $17, if I could plug that in and play these games on my TV and it just work, I am all about that. So I got the Fire Stick in, plugged it into the TV, and the controller was not connecting.
No.
Like, it just nothing. It's you can connect it to the Fire Stick through Bluetooth, and I tried that. I thought maybe that'll work and it'll be fine. Do not try to play any games on Luna with a Bluetooth connected controller to the Fire Stick. It's just too laggy for that.
Noted.
You really need the Wi-Fi controller for that. So I spent like an hour and a half on the phone with Amazon's customer service a couple nights ago trying to figure out why this wasn't working. And after I think I went through 4 customer service people, they finally determined this Fire Stick that you have is not compatible with Luna. Like, you can, with the Luna controller, not Luna itself, because you can download the app and you can play the games with a Bluetooth enabled controller.
Ugh.
But it's not compatible with the Luna controller itself.
Okay.
They said it was a first generation Fire Stick, and that is not compatible. So I promptly went to Amazon and bought a new one and made sure that the one that I bought is compatible. It says on Amazon's site it's a 3rd generation Fire Stick. It's more than capable of doing it. Had to spend a little bit more money. I think it was on sale for $27. It's normally $40. So that is coming in the mail. It will be here between the time we're recording the show and the show goes out. So I will be doing that, because one of the things that I was really excited about was the ability to take the game to whatever device you're playing on without having to reconnect the controller. So I can start the game if I'm playing on the computer and then somebody needs the computer because we only have one computer in the house. I can just boot up Luna on the Fire Stick and switch over without having to switch controllers or reconnect the controller from one device to another.
That's really, really awesome.
So I'm going
Just
to
pick it up, make it play on something, and go somewhere else, do the same thing.
Yep. Because it's a Wi-Fi connected controller and it's communicating with Amazon directly, there's no need to, disconnect it from one device and connect it to another. So that'll be really nice. So I'm going to try to get some video of that, and so you can see exactly what that looks like in action. So One Fire Stick is going back to Amazon. Another is on its way. I am very excited to finally get a chance to test that out. So, but that is really all that I have been doing this week. So let's take a quick break and we will come back and we'll talk about a little bit of the news. Let's talk about some news, Ethan.
All right, we got news.
First up in the news is Stadia. Let's talk Stadia because I know you love Stadia so much.
Someone here does. The other one, not so much.
Someone does. I am very pro Stadia at this point. I don't have a Stadia Pro account. So, but I do like Stadia itself. I like the way it works, all that stuff. Ubisoft Plus is coming to Stadia, so that will be really nice. It will let me play games on my phone that I can't do with Luna. But Stadia turned 1 this year, or not this year, of course, this year. This week, Stadia is officially 1 year old. I think it was the 19th that they passed their first anniversary, and to celebrate, they threw out a bunch. To
celebrate, Google has discontinued. Nah, I'm kidding.
No, they actually have plans for a lot going forward. Just quickly, some stuff. Stadia, they announced, will be coming to iOS in the next few weeks. They are going to be beta testing a dedicated web app for iOS, both phones and iPads, that you will be able to put the icon on your desktop. It'll load a browser version of Stadia, and you'll be able to access Stadia that way through iPhone and iPad.
Yeah, whenever you can't actually give an app that does what it's supposed to, you just make people go to a browser. Take that, Apple.
Well, that's exactly what Luna did. They worked with Apple specifically for their web app for Luna, and that's why it came to iOS. It's not on Luna's not on Android yet. It's coming in the next few weeks.
I stand by my insult to Apple.
GeForce Now is available through a web app on iOS. I would imagine xCloud will be coming very soon in this web app version, and Stadia is now as well. So we'll see what that's like. I don't have an iOS device, so I can't do any of that testing. They also announced that the very first fully free-to-play game is now available on Stadia.
Oh?
And that game is Destiny 2. It's been available forever since Stadia launched, but you had to be a pro subscriber to do it. There is a catch.
I was just kind of lost because Destiny 2 is kind of free already on everything else.
Stadia was the only place that it was available that it wasn't completely free because you had to be a pro subscriber to play on Stadia. That is not the case anymore. It is fully free. All you need is a Stadia account, which is free. You just need a Google account, and you can log into Stadia, and you'll be able to now play Destiny 2. There is a catch, though.
Oh?
It is only the base game.
Well,
it does not include any of the expansions.
That's fine. It's still base.
So, if you haven't played Destiny 2, now's the time. If you have a Stadia account and you're just curious about Destiny 2, it's free everywhere. So, I don't see any reason aside from having it on phones. But even there are other services that you can play Destiny 2 on your phone for free. So, but it is now on Stadia, and they did say this is not the last game. They have a number of free to play games that will be coming over the next few weeks. So we'll see what those are. I'm hoping it's games like Paladins. I'd love to see Paladins on Stadia. Dauntless, maybe one. I think the Dauntless people would want that on every device possible.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know other games that it could be. Those are just the two that I play off the top of my head that I'd like to see on Stadia. So we'll see. They also announced that we've known for a while that Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be available on Stadia. This week they announced a promotion for that game where if you pre-order Cyberpunk 2077 on Stadia, you get the Chromecast Ultra and Stadia controller bundle for free.
Huh.
So they're trying to entice people over to the Stadia version of Cyberpunk by giving them free Chromecasts and free controllers. So they're like, hey, you want to play the game, but you don't have anything that you can play it on, or you just, want a new way to play it? We'll give you the thing that you play it on if you buy the game through us. So you can do that if you're curious or interested. They have said though this will be while supplies last. So you're going to want to act quickly if you want to take advantage of this. When you go to the Stadia website, you'll pre-order the game, and then they give you a code that you'll be able to use to get the free Chromecast and controller, and that'll be sent to you. They did say it will not be available at the launch of the game, but a few weeks after, possibly. But if you've got the game, you could still play it on your PC or your phone with either mouse and keyboard or a Bluetooth-enabled controller. But
Okay.
they're still trying to get people into the Stadia ecosystem. Last week, anybody, or it was a couple weeks ago at this point, anybody that was a YouTube Premium subscriber before November 6th could get a free Chromecast Ultra and controller, and now they've announced this Cyberpunk bundle.
It's like they're just trying to give that stuff away at this point.
I think what it is they've just got a ton of old Chromecast laying around, and they just want to get rid of it because they're moving over to like the Google TV stuff. So this is just a bunch of old Chromecast stock that they don't have any need for anymore.
It's because they got new stuff they want to get out there.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And then lastly for Stadia, they announced that they have currently plans for about 400 games to be available on the service by the end of 2023 is what they said.
Well, they got 3 years for that, so I'll believe it when I see it.
So they have some long-term plans for Stadia. We'll see exactly how those plans come to fruition. So that's it for the Stadia news. I just wanted to mention that stuff. If anybody, I know I am the only real, proponent of the streaming services right now. So,
well, yeah, you actually have the internet to handle it all. I can stream stuff to Twitch on a good day.
Yeah, it is definitely one of those things where you still have to, the internet infrastructure is not there yet everywhere in the United States because the country's so big. There's a lot of rural areas. I am one of the people lucky enough that I have really fast internet and no data caps, so I can stream all of this stuff as much as I want. And
for my area, I have really fast internet and no data caps. For my area.
Yeah.
Not as fast as Tony's.
So there you go. That is it for Stadia. Let's move on to the Switch. And it was announced, or not announced this week, but heavily speculated because GameStop started calling people that had pre-ordered the physical version of Doom Eternal on the Switch and telling them that the game had been canceled and they were refunding people.
Oh, no.
So because of that, people were like, well, what's going on? Is the game not coming? And Bethesda's like, no, it's still coming. Don't worry. Their statement was, while Doom Eternal is 100% on track for an imminent digital-only release on the Switch, the absence of a physical release at retail resulted in canceled pre-orders. Affected customers will receive full refunds and should contact their preferred retailer for more information. Now, here's what I think may be happening with this.
Does it start with micro and end in soft?
No, It doesn't. I don't think this is a Microsoft thing. I don't think they're getting rid of the Switch version because they own Bethesda now and whatever. What I think this signals is that they could not get the game running on Switch.
No, they said the digital version's still happening, right?
Yes. But you know another way that you can get a digital-only version of a game onto a Switch?
You don't mean...
I mean, we're going to see Control happening here with Doom Eternal. I think it's going to be a streaming release.
Okay. That would definitely do better than the 30 frame a second thing.
I think that game is just so taxing. I've heard people saying it runs the PlayStation 4 hard. Um, and if that's the case, there's no way that this game would work on Switch. So I think they want the game on Switch, but the only way to really do that is a streaming version, and I think that may be what we see. That that's the only thing that makes sense because they're canceling the physical version and they're saying that a digital version is still coming. If the game is running digitally, there's no reason that it wouldn't run on a physical cartridge unless the file size is just like 100 gigabytes on Switch, and I don't see that happening.
Makes me curious how big that file is on my PC of Doom Eternal.
So that's the only thing that I can think. It's the only thing that makes sense to me is that the only way for them to really get the game on Switch the way they wanted it is to stream it so that it can still have the, the assets and the effects and everything from the bigger high-end systems on the lower powered game system. So that's my speculation. So we'll
Maybe
see.
so.
And then let's see. The last bit of news before we get to one other thing that we want to do is that Sony says there's news coming about their version of a Game Pass style service. And
Okay, that's good to hear.
this comes from a Russian outlet, TASS, where Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Jim Ryan talked to them and strongly hinted that they are working on a direct competitor for Game Pass. His response was, "There's actually news to come, but just not today. We have PlayStation Now, which is our subscription service, and it's available in a number of markets." And that was all he said. I have no doubt that Sony has seen the success of Game Pass, and they know they have to do something like that to compete with the Xbox as well. So whether it's PlayStation Now or it's something completely different, I have no doubt that something will be coming in the near future from Sony.
I look forward to what they offer on theirs.
So, I mean, we're starting to see a little bit of that now with like their, PlayStation Plus classics things, whatever they call it on the PS5. I don't remember.
Yeah, that's the only way I'm able to play Crash Insane Trilogy because I don't own the physical game. And I went in there, I was like, oh, I can play this game. Even saw Resident Evil 7 in there. I don't own a copy of that aside from being able to play it through Game Pass. Now I can play it on PlayStation 5 as well. So that's really awesome. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to do it, but the
I
option's
would
there.
I would imagine PlayStation Now may be rolled into PlayStation Plus like Game Pass has been with Game Pass and Xbox Live and all that stuff has been integrated together. We may see something like that happen with PlayStation Plus as well, where if you have a Plus subscription or you have a PlayStation Plus Plus subscription, you would get access to like a Game Pass style library of games on PlayStation Plus. So we'll see. I still really wish Nintendo would do the same thing. They have a bunch of games on Switch that have either died very quickly, like their second tier games like Captain Toad, Mario Tennis. Those are the kinds of games that would do really well in a Game Pass style subscription on the Switch that would either get people to play them that were kind of interested but didn't want to pay $60 for a game like that. If it's on Game Pass or whatever, play the Nintendo Switch Online service, I think those types of games could do really well for Nintendo.
Okay.
So we shall see. And then the last thing that we wanted to do was talk about the Game Award nominees.
Mm-hmm.
Because, that's coming up very soon. And you can go online right now and you can vote for the Game Awards yourself. And we thought, Ethan, you've already voted for all of this.
Yep.
I have not. So let's just go through the Game of the Year stuff or, the Game Awards stuff. And I'll just vote while we're talking about them all. And you can know exactly who I voted for.
Do
for the
do
Game
you just want to
Awards.
share your vote screen?
I mean, I can. Yeah.
All right, let's do that.
Okay.
So here's the technical difficulties part while Tony gets that loaded up, and I get it switched over to full screen on my other monitor. And
Let's see. Screen nominees, the Game Awards. Go live. There you go.
watch stream. Let's see, pop out. Ah, get over there and full screen. No, there we go. Now I switch this to monitor 2, and there we go. Now we can see.
All right. So we have Game of the Year. And these are the 6 nominees for Game of the Year. We've got Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima. It's a
Yeah,
hard
I
one to
don't know how
say.
to say the the correct way.
Hades, Animal Crossing New Horizons, and The Last of Us Part 2. I've played 3 of these games. I've played Doom, Final Fantasy, Animal Crossing. I would say of all of those, I have enjoyed Animal Crossing the most. So that's who I would vote.
I'd say it'd be a really close vote between Ghost of Tsushima and Animal Crossing.
Okay, really?
Yep. And I actually voted for Final Fantasy VII.
See, that's the only other one that I would.
It's just because I didn't want it. It's like Ghost of Tsushima is. I heard really good things about it. I haven't played it, but that stuff has fallen off. Animal Crossing, on the other hand,
I earned a badge.
Animal Crossing, on the other hand, it's people are still talking about that. Heck, even Doom Eternal's still getting talked about. You know
Yeah,
what's not getting talked about? The Last of Us 2
exactly.
or Part 2.
Um,
Sorry.
so Animal Crossing has been the game. While I haven't played it like nonstop throughout the year, it's still played to this day in my house. I still see Animal Crossing every day. Uh, I got a lot of enjoyment from my time from Animal Crossing. It's been a very relaxing. We need this kind of game in this year type of thing. So it's the perfect storm for Animal Crossing to just dominate everybody's life for the last few months.
It definitely had like the best time of year to come out for that.
So, and then let's see. Let's go with best game direction. Awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. So we have Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, and The Last of Us Part 2. For this one,
Quick spoiler warning: Last of Us Part 2 is pretty much in every category for some reason.
yeah. I think it's those green things you get from the bank.
I don't know. I mean, if you look at the judges for who decided what all gets in here, it's a really large list of. So I don't know. I don't think it was money though.
um, for this one, I'm gonna give it to Final Fantasy VII. I love what they've done, taking an old game and making it, while it's similar, it's fresh, it's new, it feels so good to play that game. I think taking that game and remaking it for a modern audience, they did that game perfectly.
Okay. Okay.
So, you have any
No, I'll agree to that one.
best narrative? 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and The Last of Us Part 2. I only know the story for one of these games, so I'm not maybe the best person to talk about the narrative in terms of overall stuff.
Stuart has been telling me that 13 Sentinels has been getting a lot of praise for its gameplay and story stuff.
Yeah.
So I voted for that one, even though I don't know anything about it because I couldn't give it a Final Fantasy VII because I mean you're working off of a previously told story already,
And the biggest thing, the reason I wouldn't give that is while Final Fantasy VII Remake may be its own thing, it's only part of the story. Like we haven't seen the whole
yes,
story yet.
in fact it should be called Remake Part 1.
Yeah.
unless they don't think there'll be another
So,
part.
so I'll give this one to 13 Sentinels as well. I've heard a lot of good things about Hades, but it hasn't necessarily been the story itself that I've heard. Um, Nobody I've talked to has said anything good about Last of Us Part Two.
Yeah, it's so confusing that it's in there.
So
So next one is going to be best art
best art
direction.
direction. I'm not even going to look at all the categories. That game is just beautiful. Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
I shaking my head at you.
Really?
Anyway,
Why?
next. That's personal.
Should I give this
No,
one a
it
Final
really
Fantasy?
doesn't look that different from the first game to me. So as far as I'm concerned, it's like, okay, well, you're still using that same art style. Good for
Yeah, but
you.
it's still good.
It's questionable.
So,
So the next one, best score and
best score and
music.
music: Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hades, Ori and the Will of the
Don't you
Wisps,
dare click on
and
that
Last.
again.
I won't click on Ori this time. No.
Okay. While
Uh,
Doom Eternal did have some good music, but there was also issues later on, and the person who did the music quitting and all that. You know, some
mhm.
drama and soundtrack just being garbage apparently, and because it was like his music having to be repieced together by someone else because of the way he did it. Whereas Final Fantasy VII, you actually had to go and collect all the music in the game, and you had like some great classics and remixes of the
Mhm.
modern day stuff. I've never played Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, and then there's Last of Us Part Two.
Yeah. That soundtrack for Final Fantasy VII is just fantastic.
Yes.
It is so good. So that gets my vote there. Best audio design: Doom Eternal, Half-Life Alyx, Ghost of Tsushima, Resident Evil 3, and The Last of Us Part 2. Uh,
Well,
for this one, I'm gonna go with Doom Eternal.
okay.
Like there, every sound in those games is so visceral, and it feels like you're just
Just some of the ways they go about getting the sounds too. Like even for the music, they for like when Doom 2016 came out, like they actually auto tuned or something a chainsaw, I think, for part of the guitar riff stuff.
yeah,
So that's pretty awesome.
yeah. Like this is I'm thinking, I music has nothing to do with it. This is just the sounds that you hear in the game, and everything about Doom Eternal's sound just reverberates like deep down into your chest, and it feels like you're the baddest man on the planet.
That's a good way to say it. Okay, next one is best performance awarded to an individual for voiceover acting, motion and or performance capture.
So we've got Ashley Johnson as Ellie, Laura Bailey as Abby, Daisuke Suji as Jin Sakai, Logan Cunningham as Hades, and Najee Jeter as Miles Morales. I have not seen any of these. I cannot. This is not a category I could vote on.
I voted for Miles simply because I am actually playing that game that he's in, and
So
and he's he fits the role of the character that he's voicing and acting as.
okay,
That's the only reason I voted for him. As I've stated earlier, I'm not voting for Last of Us 2 because I don't think I stated it, but I mean, it's Last of Us Part 2. Who cares? Get that crap out of here.
yeah,
And I actually haven't actually played Ghost of Tsushima. I just hear a lot of good things about it. And I've never played Hades. Hades. Gosh, every time I look at it, I'm going to say it differently.
yeah. So I mean, there's some. I want to play some of those games. I just haven't played them yet, so I don't know anything about. I could watch some videos of some of the performances of these people, but I haven't done that yet. Um, so I'm not gonna. That's not
Yeah,
a
yeah,
category
that's
I'm gonna
fair.
vote
That's
on right
fair.
now.
Especially
Like I
since
don't
Miles is wearing a mask 99% of the time.
like. I understand that these are all votes from people, but I'm not going to vote for something that I can't give a decent, educated. This is why I'm voting for this particular thing.
That's perfectly fair.
So, games for impact, thought-provoking game with pro-social meaning or message.
I didn't vote
Uh,
on this one because I don't know anything about any of these games.
yeah.
So
So
their pro-social meaning or message means nothing to me.
yeah, the only one I have played even a little bit of is Spiritfarer. So I would go ahead. I would vote for that one. Um,
Oh, is that the one they were showing off during like what was it where the girl is like getting all like the weird looking creatures or something? They're like actually spirits.
yeah,
Okay, okay, so that's one I know a little bit about just from a I guess it was E3 or not E3, whatever you want to call that.
yeah, from not E3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next category, best
Best.
ongoing.
This is a game that's been around forever, and it just keeps going. Is what this is basically. It's just those games that are these are the games as service games.
There we
Um,
go.
Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky.
I'm sure
I
you
have
know what I voted for.
You voted for Destiny 2, and that's probably what I'll end up voting for as well. Um,
But props to No Man's Sky for still
I I
sticking it
can't
out.
yeah, I cannot talk about this category without talking about the improvement that we've seen in No Man's Sky. That game has come from the greatest laughing stock where you couldn't give the game away. Like it was $5 on store shelves, and there were hundreds of copies on the store shelves. Um, and they stuck with that game. They continued to update it, and they are updating it for free. If you've got the game, it is a completely different game from what it was when it originally launched. Um, but I've played enough of Destiny 2 to know that this game has just gotten bigger and better, and so much is happening in that game, even still to this day, that uh, I can't not vote for Destiny 2.
Well said.
Best indie game: Carrion, Fall Guys, Ultimate Knockout, Hades, Spelunky 2, and Spiritfarer. I've played a little bit of some of these. I've played a little bit of Spelunky, a little bit of Spiritfarer, tiny, tiny, tiny little bit of Fall Guys, and about as much in Carrion. Um, I would give this one to Spiritfarer. It's the one I've played the most of. Even though I've only played a little bit of that game.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of Spelunky. I've never really liked the Spelunky games.
Okay.
Fall Guys is the game that game that I think was here and it was gone as quickly as it was here. Like I don't hear. I mean, I'm sure there's still people playing it, but I don't hear anything
There
about
are.
Fall
There's
Guys.
like some Twitch drama right now, and people are getting banned and stuff. Temporary bans, by the way.
Yeah, like I
But
know they've gotten a
Among Us
bunch of
really buried Fall Guys, which is great, even though that game had been out for a good 2 years prior.
yeah. Um, so I'm surprised. I guess Among Us is an older game now, so it's probably the type of game that's not even eligible for something like this.
I'm just waiting for the Hollywood Among Us movie made by
Uh, there you go. Best mobile game. There's Among Us right there.
starring Mila Jovovich. I can't even say it.
Best mobile game. Best game that's playable on a mobile device. For
I
me,
guess he wouldn't. I guess he wouldn't direct it since it's not Capcom.
yeah, that's true. Um, every game for me can be played on a mobile device at this point. Uh, so can I give it to can I give it to Assassin's Creed Valhalla?
It's not
But
in the
no.
running, but sure, go ahead.
Among Us, Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin Impact, Legends of Runeterra, Pokemon Cafe Mix. Um, I've played 3 of these. Like initially, Genshin Impact would be the one I would think, but that's not the one I'm going to give it to because that game, while it was good, I played a fair decent amount of time in it. I did eventually hit that. This is definitely a mobile game. You're not going to get past this game without spending a good chunk of money. Um, I'm going Call of Duty Mobile for this one.
Okay.
Specifically for the fact that I play that game still. It's like the one Call of Duty game that I play. Uh, it is impressive how much that game feels like Call of Duty on my phone. Um, I played a little bit of Pokemon Cafe Mix, uh, but that game didn't hold my interest very long. I have downloaded Among Us. I have not once played a game. Um, After the first time I heard you talking about the game, I was like, I don't want to play this with just random people.
Yeah, never play with randoms. And that's also a
So
good way to get your get like some Trump virus or something that's out there on the thing where even the developers like don't play private game or don't play public games for now.
interesting.
Yeah,
I had not
it
heard that.
basically locked you out of your. You would get locked out. In other words,
Okay.
unless it was stupid.
So
Yeah,
Call of Duty gets my vote there.
that's fair.
Best community support, recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity, game updates, and patches.
Well, we know
Uh,
where my vote already went.
Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Fall Guys, Fortnite, No Man's Sky, Valorant. Um, it would be Apex Legends, Destiny, or Fortnite, and Destiny is the one that I
And
have
yes, exactly.
interacted the most with
And
the community.
they're the developers. They're constantly tweeting stuff out here and there, even on their personal accounts. They're they're all in on this game. Those guys are awesome. So that's
Yeah, see,
they have a really good community support thing going on there. So I had to give it to them.
my vote for best community support right now would go to Amazon Luna, but that's not eligible. Like
Wait. You're not going to give it to Ubisoft
no.
for all the help they had to give you and your in the conversations you had with that guy.
No, it would go to Amazon Luna because I've had so much fun interacting with the person who does Luna's Twitter. Um,
Okay. Oh yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
you know,
Prom soon?
from the very beginning of the thing, we were already to the point where I was like, "Let's go to prom." Well, actually, you had suggested us going to prom because of our interactions from like the very first day that Luna was available, and it continues. Like I see the Amazon Luna Twitter support and the Stadia support as well, but Amazon Luna feels a little bit more personal. Like they respond to everybody, every single tweet that I have seen. Uh, Someone mention Amazon Luna, one of the first responses is from the Luna support people, and it's not a canned PR response. It feels like they're actually trying to interact with the people that are trying to spread the word about Luna. So like if I could, I would give it to them, but they're not eligible. So best VR AR, I have not played a single VR game.
uh, yeah, I haven't played any of these, so I couldn't even give a proper vote.
So
So
like there are a couple here. I really want to play Half-Life Alex, and I really want to play Star Wars Squadrons. That feels like
exactly, like
that seems like the perfect VR game.
uh,
Um,
like the Iron Man VR thing. I think it came out and everyone forgot about it right after. So
yeah, like there are things I would vote for stuff, but I have not played a single VR game, so I'm not going to vote for the category. Innovation in accessibility. Assassin's Creed, Grounded, Hyperdot, Last of Us 2, and Watch Dogs Legion. Um,
this one I don't really know.
I am incredibly impressed with the stuff that Ubisoft has put in for accessibility in their games. I'm gonna go Valhalla
Okay.
because there is menu after menu about stuff in that game that you wouldn't even as a a regular person playing games you wouldn't even think about, and you're like, okay, I don't need this menu, but I am impressed with everything, like from color to control options to remapping the buttons to changing the size of the UI because it's too small or too big, or there is an insane amount. Like if I could pull up the accessibility menu from Assassin's Creed Valhalla right now and show it to you, um, I would. And maybe after the podcast I can do that, but it's getting really late. So
Yeah, maybe
uh,
we'll worry about that later.
let's go through these here a little bit. Best action game is Doom Eternal, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, Nioh 2, and Streets of Rage 4.
I gave it to Doom.
I am going Streets of Rage.
Okay.
Like that game was incredibly fun. I've played through that now a couple of times with a couple different characters. Uh,
Yeah, and you
like
unlock like classic characters, and they don't even handle the same. They handle like their original classic style, so
exactly.
that it's
Um,
phenomenal that they're keeping it as close as they are, and they're even up doing balancing updates to that still too.
yeah, that is a very very fun modernization of the classic beat 'em up game. Best action adventure, we got Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, Ori, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and The Last of Us Part 2. I'm going to give it to Assassin's Creed. Like,
Okay.
just based on it is a very good action game. It is not a good Assassin's Creed game. Uh,
I gave it to Spider-Man just because I love swinging around New York.
I'm sorry.
It's just
Uh,
swinging around New York is just it. That's why I gave it to Spider-Man.
okay, yeah,
It's
I
just the
can
way you can traverse the area is
like
just
I
great.
understand. I just by saying what I understand the feeling of swinging through those Spider-Man games and how that can make you feel. So that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I mean, you actually feel like you're playing a good Spider-Man game, so that's why it's good,
Yeah.
especially combat and all that. So yeah,
Best role-playing game, we've got Final Fantasy VII Remake, Genshin Impact, P5 Royal, Wasteland, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. I'm gonna
they
go Final
they they made this a really tough choice because you got Final Fantasy VII, you got Persona 5, then Yakuza Like a Dragon. Oh my gosh, dude!
Yeah, this is a quality group of games right here. So
Yeah, I don't even know what the other two are. You just get those out of there. We got three good games to pick from. And it's like pick one of your children.
yeah,
No.
exactly. But of those, Final Fantasy VII is the one I've played the most and the one I've really, really enjoyed. Yakuza is on my list of games that I will definitely be playing. I just haven't played it yet.
Yeah, I got that on my shelf actually.
Best fighting game: Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, Mortal Kombat 11, Street Fighter 5, One Punch Man, and Under Night in Birth EXE late
This one
clear.
confused me. I didn't know. Like, I have One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows. And that's like more adventure and fighting style sort of thing than you would think. So I didn't consider it a fighting game like this.
Yeah.
What they're considering here.
Like if these, I know Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, I would go Street Fighter because I think this Street Fighter 5 has improved a lot from uh, when it initially launched.
All right.
Like they've done a lot of work with balancing and character,
People
adding a
still aren't
bunch of
happy
character.
with it, but you know,
It Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's not a good game.
it means they can do better on Street Fighter 6 when that's
Like
announced.
I'm not a hardcore fighting guy. I'm a very casual fighting game fan. So uh, I'm not looking deep into these games like people who play fighting games professionally do. Um, so that's why I would go with Street Fighter because I like the stuff that has been added to that game and improved from the game that it when it originally launched. Oh man, oh lord,
Yeah, good luck with
best
your vote down here.
yeah best family game. We got Animal Crossing, Crash Bandicoot 4, Fall Guys, Mario Kart, Minecraft Dungeons, and Paper Mario: The Origami King. There are a lot of good choices in this one. Um, Animal Crossing, everybody in the house has played. Crash Bandicoot is not a family. Like it is a family game, but it is not a family game.
It would be
And
like your family watching you play Luigi's Mansion.
exactly, that's what I'm looking at for something like this. This is just games that are the entire family can play. I'm gonna go Paper Mario with this one because this is the game that even more so than like Animal Crossing, I have not been able to touch this game unless my kids are in the room watching me play it. Uh, that is Paper Mario: The Origami King has become a family. Like we are all sitting in front of the TV together, watching me play that game. Abby's pointing out things that I have missed playing that game. We finished the green streamer, by the way. We're getting close to the end game in Origami King. So, while there are a lot of really good games in this list, that's the one that I would go with.
I
Uh,
I went with Animal Crossing on that.
I I can't argue with that vote. Like that's a really good vote as well, and I have no doubt that Animal Crossing will probably win this category. So, best sim slash strategy game: Crusader Kings, Desperados 3, Gears Tactics, Microsoft Flight Simulator, and XCOM Chimera Squad. I have played the three here in the middle.
I've
Uh,
played the one in the middle.
Desperados is a really good old west turn-based strategy game. Gears Tactics was like that is a really good game, just period. It's a good Gears game. It is a good turn-based strategy game. It's a really good game. I'm going Flight Simulator
I figured you
though.
would.
Of those three, that is the game that has sucked me in more than anything, and not sucked me into the engines and killed me. Um, like I am surprised at how much I have been enjoying Flight Simulator this year. So that's what I went with. Best sports racing game: Dirt 5, F1 2020, FIFA 21, NBA 2K21, and Tony Hawk, the remakes of 1 and 2.
I've played none of these games, so I gave it to Tony Hawk because I know Tony Hawk games.
I have played Dirt 5 and F1 2020. Uh, I prefer the F1 game to the Dirt game. Uh, I'm not a big fan of rally style racing, which is what a lot of Dirt
Yeah.
is. That game feels just it's slippery. There are a lot of people who like that style of game. That's not for me. I like the tightness and the control that you have behind the wheel of an F1 game. Like those are, while I'm not very good at road racing, I much prefer NASCAR to F1. I cannot say bad things about F1 2020. It's been, from what I've played, it's been fantastic. So I'd go with that one. Best multiplayer: Animal Crossing, Among Us, Call of Duty Warzone, Fall Guys, and Valorant.
I gave it to
Um,
Among Us simply because I get way more enjoyment watching other streamers and like Markiplier when they play that because it's just really amusing to see how they're interacting with a group of like 8 people.
yeah. See, I haven't watched anything of that. I don't really like the multiplayer in Animal Crossing. I think it's too restrictive because you're tied to the first player. You
Yeah.
can't just like wander around the islands and do whatever you want.
Well,
You
I
have
mean,
to
if you
play
interact,
local.
if
If you're with multiple systems, that's one thing.
yeah,
Um, I don't know which one I would go with. Like, I think Valorant is really good. I've seen some Valorant stuff. I may go Valorant just because I've seen more of that multiplayer than any of the other games. Um, I'm now a teacher.
congrats.
Woohoo. Nope, don't care.
Nope. Yeah, you're basically done voting now. Thanks.
Best debut game. We'll go Phasmophobia.
That's what I did.
Like that is a game I've not played as much, nearly as much as you have, but what I have played of that has been really fun.
Yeah, that game just came out of nowhere and it's been great.
Don't care, don't care,
Hmm.
don't care, don't care, don't care, don't care.
Yep, that's it. Congrats, you voted.
There you go. Like I could not care less about esports stuff. So there you go. Those are my votes for the Game Awards. You can see our show notes.
Nope, I ended it or
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't end it. I did the thing.
All right. So there you go. That is it for that. Real quickly, though, we do have one piece of listener feedback this week, and it comes from Chris via Twitter. He wants to know, I know you guys don't talk politics. I got to ask this, though. When are we going to get our next gen console stimulus checks? I know what I'm using it on if we ever get the second stimulus. That's a good question. I don't think the government's going to give us money to play video games. Well,
Man, if they would.
so I'm going to say the 5th of never is when we would get that. And you're going to buy Stadia with it. So there you go. Chris. I've
The
spoken.
video game stimulus check will be a $10 cute coupon, and everyone gets a free Ouya.
Oh man. Yeah, the $10 voucher is only good in the Epic store. So it's not even good on Ouya. You're gonna
But
get a free Ouya, but you can't buy any games on it.
I think the store is shut down on Ouya anyway, or is going to
So
be soon.
so there you go. You get $10 to spend in the Epic Game Store on the 5th of Never. But yeah, I'd love to get a next gen console stimulus check. Just the government say, here, go buy an Xbox. I know you can't buy an Xbox right now, but go buy an Xbox. So
All right, there you go.
that is it. So that will be the show for this week. Thank you very much, Ethan, for being here.
Thanks for being here too, Tony. Not awkward at all. You didn't just catch me looking at my phone, not paying attention.
If you want to reach out to us, we have new ways to do so. You can email us at procedurallygeneratedent@gmail.com. If you like what we do, you can support us on Patreon by going to patreon.com/pgent. Patreon supporters get the video version of the podcast a day early. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/progenint. Check out our YouTube channel, and we still have that famous Facebook group where you can interact with us on a daily basis as well.